My name is Ethan Cole, and I'm 24 years old, born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. I used to believe hard work protected you, that if you stayed loyal to the right people, life would eventually make sense. I was wrong. This is the story I've never told anyone. I call it My Boss Fired Me. Then his wife said, I'll take care of you. The day everything fell apart started like any other Monday. Gray sky, coffee too bitter, deadlines stacked higher than my confidence. I worked at a boutique marketing agency downtown. Glass walls, quiet tension, and the constant feeling that everyone was pretending to be more successful than they really were. My boss, Richard Hale, was the kind of man who smiled with only half his face. He had built the company from nothing, and he reminded us of that every chance he got. I was the youngest account assistant there, underpaid, overcommit, desperate to prove I belonged. And then there was her, Claire Hale, Richard's wife. She didn't work at the agency officially, but she came by often, elegant, calm, always dressed like she belonged in a different world than the rest of us. The first time she spoke to me, she asked my name twice, like she actually cared to remember it. Ethan, right? She said once, leaning against my desk while Richard barked orders across the office. You look exhausted. I'm fine, I'd replied, pretending I wasn't running on 3 hours of sleep. She smiled, soft, knowing. You don't have to pretend with me. I didn't think much of it then. I should have. The firing happened on a Thursday afternoon. Richard called me into his office. No warning, no emotion, just that same half smile. We're restructuring, he said, fingers steepled like he was delivering good news. Your position isn't necessary anymore. The words didn't land right away. What? My voice cracked before I could stop it. I handled the Carson account, the Miller campaign. I stayed late every night this week. He shrugged. It's not personal. It felt deeply personal. I packed my desk in silence while coworkers avoided eye contact. The office that once felt like a second home suddenly felt cold, like I'd imagined my importance all along. Outside, the Chicago wind hit harder than usual. I sat on a bench across the street, staring at a cardboard box filled with everything I thought defined me. Notebooks, a framed photo of my younger sister, a coffee mug that read Dream Big. That's when I heard heels against pavement. Ethan. I looked up. Claire stood there, coat wrapped tight around her waist, eyes softer than I'd ever seen them. I heard, she said quietly, sitting beside me without asking. I swallowed. Guess I wasn't as valuable as I thought. She didn't respond right away. Instead, she watched the building across the street like she was memorizing something she planned to leave behind. Richard makes decisions quickly, she finally said. Too quickly sometimes. I laughed bitterly. That's a polite way to say he ruined my life. Her gaze shifted to me, intense, almost searching. What are you going to do now? I don't know, I admitted. Everything was tied to this job. The silence stretched between us, heavy but strangely warm. Then she said something that changed the direction of my life in a way I couldn't have imagined. I'll take care of you, she whispered. I blinked. What? She held my gaze, steady, sincere, and something deeper I couldn't quite name. I know people, she continued. Opportunities. You don't deserve to fall apart because of one decision. A part of me felt relieved. Another part felt uneasy. Why would my boss's wife care this much? And why did her words sound less like professional help and more like a promise? As the city lights flickered on around us, I felt the first crack in the life I thought I understood, and I had no idea whether stepping closer to Claire Hale was going to save me or destroy everything I had left. I didn't answer her right away, not because I didn't want help, but because something about the way Claire said it made my chest tighten. It wasn't just sympathy. It felt personal. You don't even know me, I said quietly, watching cars blur past under the streetlights. She gave a small, almost sad smile. I know enough. There was something in her tone, a heaviness that didn't belong to a woman who seemed to have everything. Before I could ask more, she stood and motioned toward a black sedan parked along the curb. Come on, she said. At least let me buy you dinner. You shouldn't be alone tonight. I hesitated. Every instinct told me to keep distance. Richard had just fired me, and now I was getting into his wife's car. It felt like stepping into a story that wouldn't end well. But I was tired, hurt, lost, and loneliness has a way of making risky decisions feel reasonable. We ended up at a quiet rooftop restaurant overlooking the river. Soft jazz played through hidden speakers, and the city lights shimmered against the glass railing. Claire seemed different outside the office. less polished, more real. She kicked off her heels under the table and let out a breath like she'd been holding it all day. "You look surprised," she said when she caught me staring. "I just didn't expect this," I admitted. She laughed softly. Neither did I. Dinner started as small talk, my family, her travel stories, harmless things. But somewhere between the second glass of wine and the glow of midnight, the conversation shifted. "Richard wasn't always like this," she said suddenly, fingers tracing the rim of her glass. "He used to believe in people." "What changed?" She met my eyes. "Success." The word lingered between us like smoke. I realized then that Claire wasn't just helping me. She was escaping something herself. "You stayed late every night," she added quietly. "I saw how hard you worked. He didn't fire you because you failed." "Then why?" I asked. Her jaw tightened. "Because you challenged him without realizing it." I frowned. "He noticed clients trusting you more," she said. "You reminded him of who he used to be, and he hates being reminded of things he's lost." The idea unsettled me. I'd always assumed I was invisible at work. Maybe I wasn't. Over the next week, Claire kept her promise. She introduced me to contacts, helped polish my portfolio, and even reviewed my emails before I sent them out. We met in cafes, libraries, quiet corners of the city where no one from the agency would see us. And slowly, something shifted. It wasn't just gratitude anymore. It was the way she looked at me when I talked, like she actually listened. The way she laughed at things that weren't even funny. The way her hand brushed mine once when she passed me her phone, and neither of us pulled away right away. One evening, while walking along the river, she stopped suddenly. "Do you ever feel like you're living someone else's life?" she asked. "All the time," I admitted. She turned to face me fully, eyes reflecting the water's silver glow. "I used to think marriage meant safety," she said. "Now it just feels quiet." I didn't know what to say. The air between us grew heavier, charged with words we weren't brave enough to speak. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen, and all the warmth drained from her face. "Richard," she whispered. My stomach tightened. She answered, voice calm but distant. "Yes." I couldn't hear his words, but I saw the way her posture stiffened, the way her eyes flicked toward me like she was calculating something. "I'm not at home," she said finally. I needed air. A long pause. Then she hung up. "What happened?" I asked. She swallowed. "He knows I've been helping you." The city noise faded into a dull hum. "How?" I said, panic rising in my chest. Claire shook her head slowly. "Richard watches everything. He doesn't like losing control." A cold realization hit me. This wasn't just kindness anymore. It was becoming a war I didn't understand, and I was standing in the middle of it. Claire stepped closer, voice barely above a whisper. "I meant what I said that night, Ethan," she said. "I'll take care of you, no matter what happens next." Her words should have felt comforting. Instead, they felt like the beginning of something dangerous. The tension didn't explode all at once. It built slowly, like a storm you pretend not to see forming on the horizon. 2 days after Claire told me Richard knew, I received an email from my old agency. Subject line, confidential notice. My hands shook as I opened it. A legal warning. They accused me of breaching company loyalty by maintaining inappropriate contact with a family member of senior leadership. There was no proof of anything romantic, because nothing had technically happened, but the message was clear. Richard wasn't just firing me. He was erasing me. I sat at my kitchen table staring at the screen when Claire arrived, breathless, eyes wild with worry. "He sent that, didn't he?" she asked. I nodded. For the first time since I'd met her, she looked genuinely afraid. "I didn't think he'd go this far," she whispered. "Why?" I said quietly. "Because he's your husband?" The word husband hung between us like broken glass. She sat down across from me, shoulders slumping. "You don't understand what he's like behind closed doors," she said. "Everything is control, image, power. Helping you was the first thing I've done for myself in years." Her honesty hit harder than I expected. I realized then that this story wasn't just about me losing a job. It was about two people standing at different edges of the same cage. That evening, Richard called me directly. I almost didn't answer, but something inside me needed closure. "Stay away from my wife," he said without greeting. His voice was calm, measured, the same tone he used during meetings. "I didn't do anything wrong," I replied. "You existed in the wrong place at the wrong time," he said. "You became a distraction." I laughed bitterly. "So you destroyed my career?" "You were never as important as you thought," he said flatly. Walk away quietly, and this ends. The line went dead. For a long time, I just stared at my reflection in the black screen. And for the first time since everything began, I understood something clearly. Claire wasn't my escape, and I wasn't hers. We were just two lonely people holding on to each other while our real problems stood untouched. The next day, I met Claire by the river, the same place where everything had started to feel complicated. She looked hopeful when she saw me. "I spoke to a recruiter," she said quickly. "There's an opening in New York. We could." "Claire," I interrupted gently. Her smile faded. "I can't keep doing this," I said. "Not like this." Pain flickered across her face. "So you're leaving too?" "I'm choosing myself," I said quietly. "And you need to choose yourself, without using me as a way out." She looked at the water, blinking fast. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she nodded, slow, understanding, but heartbreakingly calm. "I guess I already knew," she whispered. We hugged goodbye, not romantic, not desperate. Just two people acknowledging a chapter that changed them more than they expected. As she walked away, I didn't feel abandoned. I felt free. 6 months later, I started over at a smaller agency across the city. No glass walls, no polished egos, just honest work and quieter expectations. Sometimes I think about Claire, about the night she said she'd take care of me, and I realize something I wish someone had told me sooner. When you're broken, the person who reaches out to save you can feel like destiny. But not every rescue is meant to become love. Some people enter your life just long enough to show you the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. Your loneliness, your hunger for validation, your fear of standing alone. Richard didn't destroy me. Claire didn't save me. In the end, I had to learn how to take care of myself. And maybe that's the real lesson hidden inside all the chaos. The most dangerous relationships aren't the ones that hurt you. They're the ones that almost convince you that you don't need to grow on your own.